Prepping the nail is the most important step for every product application. But why is it so important, and what does it really do? Well, there's two main reasons. The first is that the nail plate is full of natural oils. Most of these oils are secreted from the tissue surrounding the nail plate, and these oils can fill the tiny spaces in the nail plate that the gel or polish needs to anchor itself into. So basically, the natural oils on the nail prevent products from adhering to it properly, which can result in chipping, peeling, and lifting. That's why cleansing the nails efficiently is one of the most important steps during prep. The second reason why prep is so important is because of this. Oh, sorry, do you not see it? Let's make it a little more obvious. Say hello to the cuticle, not to be confused with the proximal nail fold. Cuticle is a translucent dead skin that is produced and pushed out with the nail plate growth to create a barrier that prevents bacteria from getting into the space between your nail plate and your proximal nail fold. If we didn't have this, we would get infections pretty easily. But there's a downside to cuticle. It's skin, and nail products are not designed to adhere to skin. They're designed to adhere to nails. So in order for our polishes and gels to form a perfect adhesion to the nail plate, we have to make sure any visible cuticle is gently removed. Otherwise, like we said before, you'll end up with chipping, peeling, and lifting. Those are the two main reasons why prepping the nail plate is so important. So let's agree to never skip out on a solid prep. Step 1. Sanitize. Always make sure you and your client's hands are washed before starting any service. A full 20-second scrub. Just sing the chorus of "Oops, I did it again," and those 20 seconds will fly by. And don't forget to dry your hands really well. We don't want any extra moisture left on the nail plate too long, because it can affect the wear time of our manicure. In addition to hand washing, or when soap and water is not available, spray 2 pumps of your ORLY hand sanitizer on your client's hands and have them rub their hands together until all the sanitizer evaporates. This will help reduce the presence of harmful bacteria. Do the same on your hands and then apply your gloves if needed. And let's get to work. Step 2. File fundamentals. Before we get into the different nail shapes and files, let's get a few things out in the open. When it comes to filing, it's super important to make sure your client's nail shape expectations are realistic. Many nail shapes are not possible to accomplish on all nails. For instance, we know an almond shape now is not going to work on a client that has really short nails. Or maybe your client wants a sharp square, but her natural nail shape is too short and round to accomplish that. These are things you need to communicate before starting the service so you can make sure that you're both comfortable and satisfied with the finished manicure. Also, have you ever finished filing the perfect shape, but you're left with those tiny thin pieces of nail plate hanging off the free edge? And then you go to file it with your nail file, but you end up ruining the shape that you just perfected? The quick fix for that is to take your GELFX Buffer and swipe it away. Step 3. Choosing a file. Let's talk about nail files. The higher the grit number, the more little crystals per square inch, which means smaller crystals and a more gentle file. So a 100 grit file will be much stronger and more coarse than a 180 grit. But with so many files and buffers, which one should we choose? Our ORLY blackboard is perfect for natural nail shaping at 180 grits. It's gentle on the natural nail, but strong enough to get shaping done in a timely manner. It's our go-to for polish and GELFX manicures. Next, we have our Pro Zebra file. This has 2 different grits, 180 on one side and 100 on the other. This file is great for nail enhancement services. The 180 grit side is perfect to shape up the natural nail during prep, and the 100 grit side will sand away any bulk or length on artificial nails in no time. But be careful. The edges on this file can be pretty sharp. It's best to always keep a seasoning file handy and quickly file the 4 edges of this file before starting a service. Our newest is the File Buffer Duo. It's a 100 grit file on one side and a 180 grit buffer on the other. The file side is amazing for shaping our builder-in-a-bottle extensions or overlays, and the buffer side is perfect to prep the surface of the natural nail for GELFX surfaces. Here we have the GELFX Buffer. It's a 220 grit buffer on the lighter side and a 280 grit buffer on the darker side. Perfect for buffing the natural nail plate and smoothing any loose ends on the free edge. Step 4. Shaping the free edge. It's time for shaping the free edge. Remember to use the blackboard on the natural nail and a Pro Zebra file or buffer file duo on an enhancement for faster shaping. For a square nail, you'll want to hold the file flat up against the free edge at a 90-degree angle to the finger and move the file back and forth without changing your angle until every part of the free edge hits the file. This will get you the crispiest square shape. But please be mindful that the file is not leaning against the tip of the finger when you move back and forth because we don't want to file anyone's skin. For a squoval or more natural shape, start with a square nail and tilt your file from a 90-degree angle to a 45-degree angle. Filing back and forth, you'll notice at this angle the file only hits the corners of the square. Now rounding them out evenly for a perfect shape. For a round nail, you'll want to again tilt the file so it's flatter to the nail and gradually curve in towards the center. Keep your file strokes shorter near the corners and longer and more curved as you work towards the center. For an almond shape, start with the longer file strokes from the corner to center. As you get close to the center, use shorter, more curved strokes. After doing this on both sides, use a small, sharp curved stroke to gently blend the center of the tip to the rest of the shape. Step 5. Understanding the cuticle. Cuticle tends to go unnoticed as it's easily mistaken for the proximal nail fold. These are two very different things. The proximal nail fold is the living skin that should never be trimmed or aggressively pushed back. Doing so will only cause it to grow back more aggressively, as all living skin will callus over time when it's constantly being damaged. Cuticle is very different. This is the dead tissue being pushed out with the new nail plate growth, forming a seal to prevent bacteria from entering the area between the nail plate and the proximal nail fold. But like we said before, nail products are only made to adhere to the nail plate, not dead tissue or skin. So it's important to remove the cuticle that's visibly on the nail plate for our nail coatings to form a perfect bond. But only remove what is necessary for proper adhesion. There's no need to dig up deep under the proximal nail fold and break the seal that's there for a reason. Step 6. Dry cuticle removal. So now that our anatomy lesson is out of the way, let's remove the cuticle. On a dry nail plate using the ORLY pusher and remover, we're going to gently push it back. Lay the pusher flat on the nail and push the cuticle up to the proximal nail fold, making sure to adjust your angles based on the curve of the natural nail. Again, we don't want to remove any more than we need to because it's there to protect us. Then we're going to take the 220 grit side or the lighter side of the GELFX Buffer and use the curved edge to gently buff away the lifted cuticle or trim it if you need. Step 7. Cuticle removal with Cutique. For thicker, harder to remove cuticle, pushing back dry might not do the trick. That's when you'll need Cutique. Now keep in mind the reason why we typically push back dry is because we don't want to add any unnecessary moisture or oils to the nail plate before applying a nail coating. It can affect the nail product adhesion if the nail isn't cleansed properly. So after using Cutique, make sure to cleanse the nail extra thoroughly. Apply Cutique on one hand at a time, making sure to cover the entire cuticle area of each nail. Once you finish applying it to the last nail of one hand, the first nail should be ready. We'll go in with our ORLY pusher and remover and gently push back the now softened cuticle tissue. Push it right up to the proximal nail fold, but again, no further. After pushing back 3 nails, remove the leftover Cutique using a Lint-Free Wipe soaked in the 3-in-1 cleanser. Continue on to the rest of the nails on this hand, and cleanse the leftover Cutique with a new Lint-Free Wipe. Using the 220 grit side of the GELFX Buffer, clean up any excess cuticle or skin around the nail plate. Then repeat the application on the other hand. Step 8. Prepping for GELFX. If you're continuing on with the GELFX service, you'll want to ensure that the surface of the nail has a perfect texture for optimal GELFX adhesion. Now this doesn't mean that you need to rough up the natural nail with a low grit file and cause damage. A gentle buff using the 180 grit side of your buffer file duo is perfect for this. Buff the entire surface of the natural nail, making sure to get the sides and the base area. You'll notice tiny micro scratches on the nail plate. This is what we're looking for. Without removing layers of the natural nail, we've gently created the ideal texture for any GELFX surface. If you're using our professional lacquer, you can skip this step as it's not necessary for lacquer surfaces. Step 9. Cleansing the nail. Cleansing the nail plate might seem like a simple task. So simple that you might even glaze over it a bit. The goal here is to remove as many surface oils on the nail plate as possible, as well as any debris. This is where the importance of using a GELFX lint-free wipe comes into play. So you never have to worry about any debris or lint getting left behind. But the solvent you cleanse with is just as important. Surface oils on the nail prohibit nail coatings from forming proper bonds to the nail plate. This can lead to pulling, chipping, and surface breakdowns. But did you know that alcohol, acetone, and other common solvents individually only remove specific surface oils from the nail plate? The ORLY GELFX 3-in-1 cleanser is specially formulated with the perfect balance of solvents to effectively remove the most surface oils from the nail plate. So you get the perfect canvas for your polish or GELFX applications every time. So take a lint-free wipe and soak it with a 3-in-1 cleanser, but not to the point that it's dripping. And grip with your thumb to curve the wipe, allowing it to hug the natural curve of the nail plate. With firm pressure, scrub from side to side, making sure to really get into the side walls and right up against the proximal nail fold. Drag the wipe down the nail plate and off the free edge. Now using a pointer finger tucked under the wipe, make sure to clean the underside of the free edge. Now your nails are ready for any ORLY product application.